All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to NFL playoff football. We got wild card weekend here that we're jumping into in today's video. We're gonna go through all 6 of these NFL games. I'll give you my lean on the spread, give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about the games, anything else I like. But as always, keep an eye on the pinned comment for my final plays. That is where those will live. Guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. We are racing and grinding towards 50,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. So go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And now let's jump into game number 1. No need to waste any more time here. We got Houston taking on Cleveland. And in terms of a lean here, give me Cleveland minus the points. You can get minus 2.5 over on FanDuel to a little bit better of a number, especially for football. I'm on this Joe Flacco train and this sort of Cleveland meant to be type train now. Do I think they make their way to the Super Bowl or even the AFC Championship? No, not that level, but the Texans feel like the team that have already, feel complacent that they're there. Now, I could be wrong on this, obviously. I'm just going off of what I feel, not necessarily anything that they've said or even in terms of data here, but they are the team that, kind of has that chip on their shoulder, or had, I should say, chip on their shoulder, whereas Cleveland, outside of that Joe Flacco sort of spark, this team is grinded all year long. Adversity. They're on their millionth quarterback. They pull them out of the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, this team has a little bit more grit to them, and I think that that's going to be the type of thing that wins this football game, because Houston, not necessarily the grittiest team, I guess, and we're in playoffs now, right? It's like, CJ Stroud, does he rise to the occasion? Who knows? But I'll trust the veteran Cleveland team, the team that has experience, and the team that I think will play a little bit harder. So I'm going to lean towards Cleveland here, minus the 2.5 points. Again, if this was like 3.5, I'd probably not touch it. So that field goal number is super important, in my opinion here, as it should be for yours. But yeah, give me Cleveland here, minus the points. Now, in terms of a total, 44, I want to say this game goes under, and that is where my lean is going to be. This Cleveland team has been putting up points, so it's like their offense has been playing fairly well. They've covered this line in terms of their over-unders here in 5 of their last 6 and held opponents, obviously to decent low scores, relatively speaking. And the Texans offense, though they've had a bunch of injuries, they really haven't been cooking offensively. Even last game against Indianapolis, putting up 23 points. It's like, I would actually expect them to put up more. I lean towards the over in that game, right? So their offense is giving you around 20-ish, but this is going to be the best defense they've seen in a couple weeks, and they just scored 21 points against Cleveland a few weeks back. Now Cleveland knows them. I expect them to make it tough, but again, this is just a tough total. I think that's a decent number. If this was 47, I'd be all over the under, but I think it's going to stay as a lean in this spot for this week. Kansas City taking on Miami, and the one thing we can admit is, like, everybody is on Kansas City, right? This is going to be the public play of the week because the weather and because that, like, I get it, and I understand that this is pretty much Kansas City's game to lose. Like, they have home field, and it's going to be frigid out there. But I think I'm going to kind of go with the contrarian pick here. I think I'm going to lean Dolphins. Plus 3.5 is on the graphic, but you can get plus 4.5 for minus 105 over on BetMGM. I'll sound the psycho alert alarm. I get it, but something about the fact that everyone's going to be on Kansas City and this line isn't really shifting around all that much tells me that sportsbooks are like, all right, keep coming with your action, keep coming with your business, and it worries me a little bit. So I'm gonna kind of line read that one and look at Miami here plus the 4.5 points. The total sitting at 44. That's where you might get me, and it's like, okay, I can go with the public here. It's gonna be so cold. Who knows how explosive that offense is gonna be? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, both limited in practices this week, which it is playoff time, so maybe they're doing that on purpose. But overall, it's like maybe I could lean towards the under here because this could be a game in which Miami could win. Just like even when they played Dallas, right? That wasn't them being the explosive team, right? Back on Christmas Eve, yeah. And then Miami's offense kind of trickled off from that point, but they won that game. What was it, 22 to 20? 22 to 20, and it's like, okay, well, they scored a decent amount of points, stayed under what this number would be, right? Won the game without really exploding. So we haven't really seen that Miami explosive offense late in the year, but they went through a gauntlet: Dallas, Baltimore, and then Buffalo to close out the season. So I think people kind of forgot how good this Miami team was. And again, I'm kind of trying to stay away from the public pick here. So give me Miami plus the points, and the total, I think I lean towards the under ever so slightly. All right, guys, before we continue on with the slate, I'd like to talk to you about Sleeper because they have a couple promo squares going on right now. A CJ Stroud promo square, as well as a Puka Nacua promo square as well, guys. Go check those out. Use the link in the pinned comment. You get your first deposit matched. It's an absolute no-brainer. If you like player props and you like, the prize picks, the underdogs of the world, go check out Sleeper. If it's legal in your state and you're not on it, you're sleeping. Like, wake up, go check it out. Each and every play that you put into your slip has its own unique multiplier, so they don't follow the fixed payout multiplier structure of all the other apps. It's something really cool that they do. Go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, Sleeper link in the pinned comment, or you can just download it and use the code GUYBOSTON, get your first deposit matched, and go take advantage of these promo squares. Absolute no-brainer. They drop promo squares like you read about, too. So go check it out, guys. That's Sleeper, link in the pinned comment. Let's go ahead and jump back into the games here. Buffalo taking on Pittsburgh. Now, this line is huge, honestly. 10 points here in a playoff game, but it makes sense why. Like, I think that, Pittsburgh as well as Green Bay are two teams, not to give and tip my hand at the next game either, but these are two teams that, like, slide into the playoffs, you know what I mean? It's like, are they playoff teams? Most likely not. Like, this Pittsburgh team is not, so it makes sense why this is the largest spread on the board. And Buffalo's been playing good football. A lot of people I've seen taking the Steelers here because they're like, the Bills have been like, rocky all year long, and like, okay, that can be true, but are we not going to acknowledge that they went on a 5-game win streak at the end of the year, beat some good teams as well, played Philadelphia close, beat Kansas City, beat Dallas, it's like they're winning games. Now, what you'll probably say is, yeah, they're winning games, but look at the margin here. Like, they're not covering. They covered in 7 of their last 10 games of the year. Or no, they won in 7 of the last 10 games of the year, only covered in 4 of those. So they're not the best cover team. But again, this Pittsburgh team I don't think necessarily deserves to be here. So give me Buffalo minus the points. Total at 35.5. This is probably also going to be a very cold game. I think I saw below freezing numbers. But 35.5. I could see Buffalo putting up, 20 plus points. I don't know if the Steelers get there, so I'll lean under overall, but don't hate looking at the Steelers team total in this spot. For what you can get there, I just had it up. Let me find the tab. The best line that I like, it is an alternate line, I guess, but I don't mind looking at over 19.5 here, or even over 20.5 to get, 3 touchdowns out of Buffalo. I think I can do it. Like, I know this is a good defense, but Buffalo, I do think can go score 3 touchdowns. A player prop I like in this spot is going to be Dalton Kincaid. I talked about this on H2H. If you guys watch that show, me and Tassos do here on the channel, but I like his over in receptions too. Right now it's sitting at 3.5 for decent odds. For plus money, I think right now you can get Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 receptions. Yeah, plus 110 over on BetMGM. He's getting way too much of a target share and volume for me to pass that up. And you look at this Pittsburgh defense here. Yes, they're not allowing that many receptions overall to receivers this season, but they're allowing a top 10 or bottom 10 in a sense in preventing tight ends from catching the ball. So I like that spot here for Dalton Kincaid as well. Dallas taking on Green Bay, and this is another pick where it's like everyone just seems to think Dallas is going to do what they've always done and get to the playoffs and kind of, screw up or something like that. But I trust this defense and this Green Bay Packers team. It's like everyone is, what in it. It's like, geez, like chill out. This Green Bay Packers team, everybody seems to love, and for rightful reasons. I understand that, but I want to see it, against the Packers or against the Cowboys here before I trust that this Packers team deserves to be in the playoffs. I know it's probably the most controversial thing I'm saying on the show because the Packers have been playing good football. Like, they really have. They've won 7 of their last 10. They won 3 straight. But look at their strength of schedule. Like, they really haven't been tested against a team, and this is a good, really good Dallas team. So I'll lay the points here. You can get it at -7, so minus that touchdown number over on Caesars right now at -105. You want to take an alternate line, I wouldn't hate -6.5 on Caesars for the value either. And then in terms of a total here, it's sitting at 50.5. I think this game goes the opposite of what everyone thinks, and everyone thinks this game's going over, right? So I think this Dallas defense is going to bug up and play some good football. So give me the under 50.5 as well. Well, this game is definitely the opposite of what I just said in terms of a total. I like the over in this spot. I think that both these teams, their defenses aren't really what they hang their hat on. Rams kind of played that efficient offense down the stretch, and the Lions can beat you on multiple levels offensively. So I like the over as my main lean in this spot. Maybe buy it to 50, 49, pay some extra juice, because I could see this being a game where it's like ending at 50, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of points in there for a playoff game, but didn't get to 52, right? So we'll see what we do with that number. But this is a Rams team, like I said, really played good football to end the year. They even beat San Francisco in the last week, which looks better on paper than it is, because obviously that was a game in which didn't really matter. And Detroit, when they need to play good football, they do, which is also going to be my lean in this spot, leaning towards them at home here minus the points. I think that they're just the more complete team overall, whereas the Rams, like I even said it on H2H, that the show that we do with Tassos, I said this Rams team, if they click, like they can make a push. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people taking Rams plus the points here, or even Rams money line for some good value. I just couldn't get myself there. Like I think that's Detroit team at home, more of a dynamic team. I'll take them. So I like the over as well as the Lions in this spot. All right, a few weeks back, we would not think we're talking about Philadelphia on the road here, but they are on the road taking on Tampa Bay for this Monday playoff game here. And Tampa Bay is getting 3 points, 2.5 on some books, which is obviously important being that field goal number. But I'm taking Philadelphia. I love this team with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody hates them right now, which almost makes me like them from a betting perspective even more. So give me Philadelphia here. If you want to take that -3, you can get plus money on Caesars as well. So if you want to lay the field goal and potential have a push, you can get plus money though if they hit. So I'll take Philadelphia again, like with a chip on their shoulder and all that. They're banged up. I understand it, but this is the playoffs, guys. I think these guys are going to play. You have Swift, Brown, Smith, Jalen Hurts, all probable. I imagine they play. Baker Mayfield, same thing. I think he plays. It's a playoff game, guys. But give me Philadelphia here, minus the points. Total sitting at 43.5. Went back and forth on this one. I think this game finishes right around 40. So I'm going to lean under, but I don't think that makes its way into the final plays overall. I think that if anything from this game, and it probably is going to be a final play, is going to be Philly -2.5. And guys, that wraps for Wild Card Weekend. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you made it to the end of the video, go ahead and comment 11.5. You made it 11.5 minutes into the video. And yeah, happy bettings to everyone. This is some of the best football of the year when we get to the playoffs. But again, you're going to have less and less games to bet on, right? So be conservative. Don't just blow your whole bankroll in week one of the playoffs, that type of thing. Be smart about it, guys. And yeah, that's all I have for you. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.